Coming up on UCF Nightly News, find out how global conflicts affect the UCF community.
See how New Year's resolutions impact RWC operations and how foot traffic is growing for the new year.
We'll look at your top stories from winter break, and the top story might surprise you.
In sports, men's basketball looks to stop a losing streak, while women's basketball looks to continue winning streak.
Nightly News starts now. Good afternoon and welcome to Nightly News. I'm Jordyn Markhoff.
And I'm Sarduy. Today is Friday, January 10th, 2020.
The United States relations with Iran are deteriorating following the death of Major General Qasem Soleimani. American drones killed Soleimani and 3 others last Thursday. Since then, 2 missiles struck Iraqi bases housing American forces. The missile strike resulted in 0 American fatalities. Days ago, a Ukrainian Airlines flight from Tehran to Kiev was allegedly shot down minutes after takeoff. Now, evidence is developing regarding the details of the crash. Around the country, Americans are reacting to the situation in Iran, and Orlando is no exception.
The recent events in Iran are affecting the UCF community. Nightly News reporter Tiana Sconyers sat down with an Iranian-American student to learn more.
I feel like people still hopefully think that Iranians are good people.
Kian Karazi is one of many UCF Iranian Americans shaken by the news of the assassination of Major General Qasem Soleimani. Following Soleimani's death, Central Floridians gathered in downtown Orlando for a peace rally.
It's definitely an intricate thing that's going on over there. A lot of different stuff coming in.
Some local leaders, including State Representative Anna Eskamani, were in attendance. Several people have family living in Iran, including Karazi.
I was afraid, especially for my grandmother, because she has a bad leg. So if anything bad happened, I don't know if she could get out of there.
After the death of Soleimani, the Iranian community in Orlando is alarmed, but their response demands peace, not war.
With all my family and stuff over there, yeah, especially with the talks about bombing cultural sites, I was very afraid. They still love Americans. But yeah, they just want peace just like us.
In Orlando, Tiana Sconyers, UCF Nightly News.
None of Karazi's family was injured during the missile launches. Nightly News will keep you updated on this developing story.
Puerto Rico is in recovery following a string of devastating earthquakes. The natural disasters come just 2.5 years following Hurricane Maria. The island experienced a 5.8 magnitude earthquake Monday, followed by a stronger 6.4 earthquake Tuesday. 2/3 of Puerto Ricans are currently without power, but are expected to receive power over the weekend.
This is the second major natural disaster Puerto Rico endured in the last 3 years. But for many UCF students, it hits close to home. Nightly News reporter Cierra chatted with Puerto Rican community members about the aftermath. Here's what they had to say.
Earlier this week, Puerto Rico faced earthquakes up to a 6.4 magnitude on the southern tip of the island, worrying many residents and reminding them of Hurricane Maria's damage. The aftermath of the earthquakes resulted in loss of power and severe damage to homes and other infrastructure. Puerto Ricans here in Orlando, like Jose Rivera, expressed their worry for their loved ones back home.
But it's really sad, that there was no power, no electricity throughout the island, and there was lack of even service of water. So people were sleeping outside their homes because they just were extremely fearful that anything could happen at any time.
Another worry crossed Rivera's mind regarding Puerto Rico getting the help it needs.
Now we also have an issue down in Iran and Iraq, and that's the focus of the federal government. So we're hoping that our disaster here domestically also is taken care of.
UCF's director of the Puerto Rico Research Hub has advice for those looking to offer help to the island.
Just donate and give to people that you feel comfortable with, not this random email or campaign on Facebook or anything like that. And if they have any questions, they could definitely contact us and we can make sure that they're going in the right direction.
Puerto Ricans hopefully await aid from the United States after much of the promised aid from Maria was never even dispersed. Reporting in Orlando, Sarah Nagy, UCF Nightly News.
Dr. Rivera says anyone with questions on how to help may reach out to Puerto Rican Research Hub by emailing prresearchhub@ucf.edu.
You may remember last year when we told you about people getting sick from vaping products. This year, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration has officially changed the age requirement to purchase tobacco from 18 to 21. This change applies to all tobacco products, including e-cigarettes and vaping cartridges. Mary Schmidt-Owens is the Associate Director at Student Health Services, and she hopes this change cuts down on the use of tobacco products.
Least exposure that they have to those types of products, any type of tobacco products, that it lessens the likelihood of them trying them. And then, of course, if they're not trying it, then they won't get addicted to it.
Also issued a ban on fruit and mint flavored vape cartridges, mainly sold at gas stations and corner stores. The ban does not apply to menthol or tobacco flavors.
While the vaping bill affects everyone in the country, this next bill hits a little close to home. Texting and driving is now a citable offense in Florida. The warning period for this law is over, and people around campus have mixed feelings on its penalties and how they can be cited. Nightly News reporter Kyle Partain went around campus to talk to students and alumni about their opinions on the law.
People caught texting while driving in Florida can now get citations and potential points on their license for violating House Bill 107. In order to prove that someone has been texting and driving, officers cannot confiscate phones. Rather, they're required to conduct a standard investigation. Major Darnell Hill with UCF PD describes the process.
We initiate the stop for what we suspect was a violation of the distracted driving communications, and then we would just ask you questions pertaining to you using the device while you were driving.
The students and employees on UCF's main campus have mixed thoughts on the penalties involved with the new bill. UCF nursing major Abigail Perez says the repercussions are a good thing because of how often people text and drive.
Everybody texts nowadays, and that's all you see on the road. So especially, I came to school one day and somebody swerved into my lane, and it's because they were on the phone or texting. So it definitely, real life applies here.
Others, like UCF alumnus Cameron Welsh, say that the current penalties need to be more of a deterrent and compares texting and driving to driving under the influence.
With texting and driving or Facebooking, whatever it might be, you're not paying attention at all to the road. And with drunk driving, you get your license taken away, you get arrested, you get taken to jail, everything. I think there should be maybe a middle ground between the two, not just a fine, but not going to jail, something in the middle that's a little more serious to actually deter people from texting and driving.
So far, no citations on campus have been given. In Orlando, I'm Kyle Partain, UCF Nightly News.
UCF PD advises students to use hands-free devices while operating a vehicle. You can reach out to them at police.ucf.edu or visit some of their on-campus locations for more details. It seems really nice outside today. Even got a little bit warmer.
It sure feels like it. Milan, what can we expect from the weather today?
So guys, we're actually going to take a quick look outside this morning, and it was clearly so beautiful. But right now, let's take a quick glance at what's happening right now. Outside, it's a warm 75 degrees, and the humidity is at a sticky 62%, with the winds coming out of the southeast at a breezy 14 miles per hour. And the chance of rain is slim because there's supposed to be some isolated showers, so it's only 10%. But now let's go back to Armond and Jordyn at the desk.
Coming up, e-scooters are coming to campus.
And we take a look at UCF downtown one semester after they opened. Stay tuned.
UCF is down one member in its leadership team. UCF official Grant Heston was relieved of his duties on December 20th. His current role was Vice President of Communications and Marketing. Interim President Thad Seymour says Heston's departure was a mutual decision. Heston worked previously as the President's Chief of Staff before resigning in November.
With the new year in full swing, some students are looking to make lifestyle changes. The UCF RWC sees thousands of students every day. But around this time of year, the gym can be more crowded than usual. You might even have to wait to use a machine. According to a University of Scranton study, only about 8% of people that set a New Year's goal follow through with it. UCF student Jacob Pfaffenbichler tells us what motivated him to make a change in his habits.
Well, at this point in my life, like my dad's already starting to get like those health issues by being a little too overweight, so trying to nip that in the bud right now.
For him is not a resolution, but more of a lifestyle change. RWC staff say January and February are the busiest months with over 100,000 students swiping in. They're expecting similar numbers for this year. The RWC still doesn't know if attendance this year will surpass last year's. They expect it to drop around March.
Spring semester is in motion, and UCF plans to provide students with new ways to maneuver through the main campus. UCF is partnering with the company Spin to bring e-scooters to UCF this month. The school is making efforts to ensure the care of scooters by offering students a discount on future rides for parking them at correct charging stations on campus. The scooters are replacing the line bikes removed from campus last summer, so stay tuned with Nightly News for more on the scooters' arrival to campus later this month.
Set to open this spring, the Celeste Hotel will include 179 rooms within its 5 stories. The contractors changed its name from the Pegasus Hotel to reflect its celestial interior design. The hotel building is located on the corner of University Boulevard and Alafaya Trail. The hotel website also boasts other features such as an event lawn, a pool with cabanas, and valet parking. For more information, visit www.thecelestehotel.com.
Downtown UCF faced various problems with housing, parking, and lack of food options last semester. Winter break gave UCF the opportunity to finish renovations and keep promises they made to students. Subway is one of the new options on downtown UCF campus. Jalissa Malone wishes they would add more food options and activities on campus, but is still excited to see what happens on campus has in store for the rest of the year.
A lot of the stuff has gotten better. Like the street is not blocked off anymore, and there are like not cranes and water dripping on your head. And some more of the food places are opening up, so it's coming better along.
The campus continues to add more dining options such as Very Asian onto their campus. As for more events on campus, the UCF Downtown website lists activities available for and Valencia students at events.ucf.edu.
Up next on Nightly News.
I'll tell you how the weather will impact your weekend plans.
All this and more after the break. Students made their way back to campus this week for the start of the spring semester. But our Knights were not kept out of the news during the break. Jordyn is at the sidewall with more.
Nicholson student media editor Daniela Medina joins me to talk about what you were most interested in reading during winter break. Thanks for being here, Daniela.
Thanks so much for having me, Jordyn. Let's jump right in. So our most popular story over winter break was about Sigma Chi. They were suspended for forcing a pledge to do cocaine.
So tell me a little bit more about why they were suspended.
So they were suspended already in May for a recent incident. However, in the fall, there were 2 incident reports that were filed. One of them was detailing a pledge who was forced to be blindfolded and forced to do cocaine, while another incident report detailed kids at a bar who were throwing drinks on a student and forcing them to jump him.
So what's next for them?
Right now, both of those are under investigation. So once we know something, you guys will know too.
All right, and what were some of the other top stories over winter break?
Well, it is no surprise that they were all related to UCF sports.
So after the loss to Temple, where do you see this season heading for UCF men's basketball?
So after the loss to Temple at the end of the decade, they need to get back on their game. After starting the season off 9-2, they are currently on a 4-game losing streak. So they are trying to get that momentum back up. And they will start that tomorrow when they play conference foe Cincinnati at noon.
And in other sports news, after UCF's 2 undefeated seasons and 2 consecutive New Year's Six Bowls, how do you feel the outcome was at the Gasparilla Bowl for the Knights this year?
So the outcome of the game was definitely what we wanted. However, after not having a New Year's Six Bowl, I feel like students definitely think that they deserved more. And especially with the loss of a few key players this season, we are happy to have Otis Anderson Jr. back next season.
All right, well, that's all the time that we have. Thank you so much for joining us, Daniela.
Thank you for having me.
Right now, we're going back to Milan on more with what you can expect for the weather.
All right, guys, so let's take a look at the highs in the state. In Tallahassee, it's 76, and in Jacksonville, it's 77. While Tampa, as we get lower in the state, it's getting a little warmer. Tampa's 81, in Orlando, we're at a nice 79, and Miami is a warm 80, excuse me. Now let's look at the lows in the state. In Tallahassee, we have a nice breezy 63 and also a breezy 65 in Jacksonville. Tampa is at 68, Orlando sitting at a nice 69, and Miami sitting at a breezy 73. Now let's look at the 5-day forecast for you guys. So on Saturday, it is going to be a high of 82 and a low of 68 degrees with a 10% chance of rain. Sunday is going to be a little warmer with the high of 84 and a low of 66 with a 20% chance of rain. On Monday, it's going to be 81 with the low of 64 and a 5% chance of rain. And Tuesday, we're going to be sitting at the same high with a low of 65 and the same chance of rain, unfortunately. Chance of rain. Now back to Armond and Jordyn at the desk.
Coming up after the break.
Find out the upcoming games for men's and women's basketball. And Nightly News reporter Chris Wolf joins me to discuss the new coaches on the football team.
Stay tuned.
Welcome back, Knights fans. My name is Cierra and here's today's UCF Knightly News Sports Update. The UCF Knights prepare to end their 4-game losing streak. The UCF men's basketball team returns to action tomorrow afternoon. The team will host the Cincinnati Bearcats in a critical home game. 3 different Knights tallied 19 points in their most recent loss to SMU. Colin Smith continues to be the offensive leader for the Knights. Matt Milan found his footing in the game, scoring a season-high 19 points. The defense struggled for the second straight game, unfortunately, giving up 81 points to SMU. The game against Cincinnati tips off at noon tomorrow. The UCF women's basketball team hits the road Sunday as they take on the Cincinnati Bearcats. The Knights are coming off their most dominant win of the season. They beat the East Carolina 91-55, a season high in points for the Knights. Forward Brittany Smith had one of her best games of the season, scoring 21 points and grabbing 5 rebounds. Guard KK Wright played really well last game, finishing with 8 points and dishing out 8 assists. The Knights will look to stay hot on the offense Sunday. Tip-off is set for 2 p.m. 4 UCF alumni are vying for a spot with their teams in the NFL's conference championships. Mike Hughes and the Minnesota Vikings head to the Bay Area to face the San Francisco 49ers this Saturday. Shaquem and Shaquille Griffin's Seattle Seahawks face the Green Bay Packers Sunday afternoon at 1 p.m. And Jordan Atkins and the Houston Texans travel to Kansas City to face the Chiefs Sunday at 3:05 p.m. From the pros back to college, the UCF Knights are undergoing some changes to their coaching staff. Joining me to talk about the recent changes is Nightly News reporter and NSM Today's sports editor, Chris Wolf. Chris, how are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing amazing.
And the coach we got right now is Coach Galish is now the co-offensive coordinator and the tight ends coach. He was at Iowa State University as a tight end coach, and then their offense there was top 40 on offense, but he's going to have to replace Coach Leddy, which he had the number 2 overall offense in the country last year, behind only LSU, and that team is playing in a national championship this year. And they also have a new coach on the the running backs coach is also the co-offensive coordinator as well to help him out with the offense. He's familiar with the offense, and it should become a boost for them as well. And now they got a new quarterback coach as well to help with that quarterback room, which it's going to be a tough one with Mackenzie Milton potentially coming back, and they also bring back Dylan Gabriel, and they also have Darryl Mack Jr. And it's going to be a tough thing to put their it's going to be tough to utilize Darryl Mack maybe. They may need to use him in the red zone more, so that might be what the coaching staff might do this season.
Okay, and how do you think the coaching staff or the whole coaching staff with the co-offensive and the quarterback's coach, how do you think they will make the team better this year?
I think they'll make them better because they'll utilize the quarterbacks better. They might be a little more creative with the offense. I mean, this year they did a lot of like screens and slant routes and deep passes. Maybe they'll be more creative with the offense.
Okay, and that's all the time we have right now. Back to Jordyn and Armond.
That's our time for right now. Thanks for joining us. Remember, you can always keep up with us during the week on our Instagram at UCF Nightly News.
And if you have a story idea you want us to know about, send it our way. You can reach us at ucf.nightly@nightlynews@gmail.com. Thanks for watching and have a great day.